So, guys, the idea of this panel is to first Thomas is still a Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador. He is from Slovakia. And this summer, if I'm not wrong, he joined at Microsoft as an employee. And the point of this panel is to share his story, how was the whole process of application of the things that needed to prepare the interview process and whole experience that he had during this process. And it is open for question anytime. So if you have any questions to ask him about the things during the application, during his journey to Microsoft, maybe also about the Microsoft Learn Student Ambassadors program, how he helped to join. And after that, we're gonna have Leona and Luiza, which gonna have a short presentation about the university recruitment at Microsoft. And after that, we can have questions directly to them, which are correlated with, I don't know, similar to Thomas, but Thomas can give you the feedback from point of applicant or student, and Luiza and Leona can give you the answers more from the recruiter side, and also, I don't know, some questions if you have about the CVs, LinkedIn profiles, are they important or something like that. So, Thomas, I will give you the floor to you. If there are questions, you can see it, but I can also read to you. And yeah.
It's all right. Thank you, Michael. And thank you for such a great welcome. I don't know if I'm the best example of a journey from Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador to a Microsoft employee, but I'll try my best because it wasn't like the exact way how you should do it or how many people imagine it should go. Because as many of other students, I try to apply it via the Microsoft official website for the students and graduates, like careers.microsoft.com, when you can search for an open positions for full-time professionals and also for students, like and internships and so on. And I tried to do this like 2 or 3 times. All of those times I got rejected, but I had my hopes still up. And actually, the way I found my job today, and the way I found the job that I do today is it's via LinkedIn, and it's also awesome and great platform. And actually, one of my friends and also a student ambassador colleagues here have shared this opportunity with me, and he was like, hey, this is like an interesting position, and like I can see you there, because it's like I currently work as a product marketing manager for Surface in a CEE, and I'm helping other PMMs, as we call them here, and support them. So he was like, yeah, this is a job for you, because I was interested in marketing and interested in project management and so on. So I took my chances, and I ended up landing the job, and it was an interesting journey. But I would start from the beginning, like how all led up to this moment, and like if I didn't even have the friend or friends in the ambassadors or basically in the whole community, that this wouldn't happen, and I'm 100% sure, because I wouldn't get actually to that job posting on LinkedIn and so on. So basically, I started as a high school student, and I know that many of you don't have this opportunity in your countries, but here in Slovakia and also in the Czech Republic, maybe Leona can recall, we have a special program for high school students, which is called Student Training Center. And that's basically a program something like Microsoft Learn Student Ambassadors, but just a notch below for the younger students, where you can actually get to know Microsoft employees and go through the process of 1.5 years or 2 years of self-development, when you can learn a lot about company itself, a lot about soft skills, presentation skills, also some technical skills, and the basics of administration, cloud solutions, and so on. And basically, graduating from this program got me like an open gate to the student ambassadors, and I was offered by another graduates that were also the part of the program already, that I should join the ambassadors. So I took my shot there. I applied on the Student Ambassador website, and previously it was called Microsoft Student Partners, if some of you can recall that name. So I applied, and I knew that the program is mainly tech skill oriented, and like there's a lot of programming sessions and action going on, and a lot of like technical sessions and so on. But I would say you don't have to worry about that, because everybody can find its way in the student ambassador program. As you can see me clearly, I do not do well in programming, or I don't know, if you show something like Azure pipelines on me, I'm like, what the hell is that? Yeah. So it doesn't have to be like, you don't have to be super technical person or you don't have to have like some technical background or anything. You can just join the program in the way you are, and just learn from that and continue from that, just to get connected with other student ambassadors, and get connected to either your local student ambassadors or the student ambassadors from around the world. So we have a few examples where I think Ilya is from Russia, and he transferred to the Czech Republic, and he met other student ambassador community there, which helps him like to get adapted, and also like have a little bit of easier time in school, and to like actually have some friends before you even go to the country and transfer universities or something like that. And like this whole point of having a community that supports you is very important. And as I already said, like without it, I wouldn't even know about the job, about the LinkedIn posting that was there. And actually, one of the student ambassadors and friends of mine forwarded to me like, this could be interesting for you. So I had my doubts at first, because I was rejected before. Like, should I do it, or like I don't know if that's actually worth it again or something like that. But at the end of the day, I said like, I don't have anything to lose, and it's just another opportunity that I can gain from. So I applied at like 2 or 3 in the morning, and the same day, the person from the agency called me that they're actually moving my application, moving my CV to the recruiters. So I will hear from them shortly. And basically, then just from that point, we had very nice 2 sessions, like 2 interviews with my now manager and one of his colleagues, and they were doing interviews by themselves actually, and there wasn't any recruiters involved actually. So that's why I'm saying that I'm not the best example, but it could go either this way. Or you can get either in contact with the recruiter. But I got in contact with the manager itself, and he was looking for someone, and he was doing the interviews himself. So we had like 2 interviews. The first one was just a nice chat to get to know each other, like what's my background and what I'm interested in, and how do I look in the future, and what I want to achieve, and how do I do with the school and university and so on. And the second one was like more about preparation and just doing the task they gave you, just to like check on you if you are the right for the job. So basically, I did some kind of like presentation about Surface devices, and like just like presentation, yeah, like you would see on any conference. Yeah, and so that's that. And I've waited for about a week and a half or 2, and I actually get to know after that time that I was chosen to be part of the Surface commercial CE team, and that's when I started my job in I think June, in the middle of June or end of the June. Yeah, and basically that got me where I'm now. So that's that. I don't know if I forgot anything or if you have any questions. And I see some some chat bubbles here. Job without coding knowledge. Yeah, I mean there is a lot of job opportunities in the Microsoft, and you don't have to be like you don't have to be a programmer or a coder or something like that. There is plenty of positions that you can find yourself in that don't require like such a programming knowledge.
What are maybe I will have the question, what are maybe the best tips or advices that you can give to the people here, to the students, that they should, I don't know, so they can also get a successful job or something on internship? Doesn't mean to be the job. I don't know. From what you have learned, I don't know. You mentioned that if you aren't in the police program, you won't maybe know the people to tell you the job. Also the LinkedIn you mentioned. So what are the, I don't know, 5, 6, how you
Yeah. I mean, the community and like the network you create around yourself is very important. At least for me, it is. And you can gain a lot from it. Either if you have a friends that support you, or you can get grateful tips and recommendations from them and so on. Because like the more people you know, the more opportunities you have, basically. And that's the motto I try to go with on LinkedIn, and just like present myself on LinkedIn as well, because I think like that's the right place where you should present. And basically, maybe just a fun fact that my CV for that job was actually downloaded from LinkedIn and just downloaded as a PDF, and I send it to them like that. So basically, if you keep your online profile active and up to date, it can be very beneficial for you in these ways. The second thing I would say is like try anyways. If it didn't work out before, you don't know how it will the next time. So as I said, I was rejected a few times before, but I still tried because you don't know the outcome. Maybe that will be the best shot you will have, and you don't want to throw it away. And that applies for any job, basically.
Yeah, that's true. So don't how it say, don't quit from the first rejection of the application.
Yeah, you just have to still believe in yourself, just to be persistent and like going for what you would like to do. Because like I don't want to end up, and if I say that, like I know, like, but I don't want to end up like my mom, and like, yeah, she has some job, but she's stressed about it, and like I want to go to my job and be happy about it. Like I'm gonna do this today, and that's what excites me. Yeah, I don't want to go to my job and like, yeah, another day at work. Okay, so.
Yeah, that's cool. So I would say that what points you get from here are that you should maybe update and keep on updating your LinkedIn profile to be up to date. Maybe with the information that you have, because of course during the studies and when you're a student, maybe you don't have that much things to put, like I don't know, someone who is just changing now the job, is not getting first job. But I would agree with Thomas that it's very, very important to have the LinkedIn updated. And of course with what was the setting, open for position or open for work, something like that means that your profile, you are looking for a job. And the other thing that Thomas mentioned is the network. Maybe you saw yesterday when we had the first presentation with Kunal from India. He was talking more about how to make communities in your campus and your universities. But he also wanted to point out that it's good to network, not just to make the community, but one of the points of the community is to do the networking between the students, the professors, I don't know, the experts. And after that, we, if you remember, all did it, exchanging the LinkedIn profiles and all the things. This is good. Maybe you will not be best friends with those people, I don't know, you see only on one presentation and not on LinkedIn. Doesn't mean that you are best friends or something, but maybe you will see something that they will share, like Thomas mentioned, some maybe some events, some jobs, some open discussion or something where you can join, benefit, or maybe, I don't know, you can contribute to that. So I would say, yeah, that connections and networking is very important, especially during your student, because in that time you don't have some contacts and some how to say, network, because you have them, but most of them are students. I want to say you don't have some professional community or network. So this is one of the good ways to start to building, how to say, your network. Is there some things that, I don't know, Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador Program helped you, or maybe Microsoft certification? I mean, we have tomorrow panel on certifications where we're going to talk about more about those things, but just to mention, I don't know, I know that you have some certificates, and after this you're going to get the exam for another, I guess. So some tips on this?
The exam, I meant like a school exam. So.
It's not Microsoft. Perfect. Okay.
No, it's not Microsoft exam, but it's a school exam line, and like the terms are coming slowly up on me. So. But for the certification, and I mean, if you do have anything you want to share, or you have any achievement or something, put it on LinkedIn. That's my best advice I can give you. Just present yourself there in the best light possible, and like if you even think like, oh, that's not that crucial or not that beneficial, no one's gonna notice that, because you have like some certification from, I don't know, other company, other agency, or like it isn't something very prestigious or like world known, but it may help you in the ways that you don't know. It shows your skills and your knowledge. So I would say like put it there, even if it doesn't mean something very big. It can help you. And for the Microsoft certifications, I do have some, and the best advice I can give you on this is like try it yourself. I think like I have like a Microsoft 365 certification fundamentals, and the thing the way how I learned and how I prepared for this exam was that I was actually playing with the 365 and actually creating something, and basically getting hands-on with the product, so that you have your own experience and you can recall that on the exam and on the questions. And that goes the same for like Office Specialist, PowerPoint, Excel, and so on. And Microsoft Learn, as Marco has on his background, is also a great resource, and there are also a great learning paths and great modules that can actually help you if you not feeling that type of way that you need a hands-on experience, but you rather learn it or watch it on video. Microsoft Learn is a great resource on that one.
There is one question. If you can try to answer, I would go. Do you think nowadays that the certifications are more appreciated than the knowledge? I would say.
I mean, the certification shows that before you engage in conversation, that you have some sort of skills and some sort of skills that you can contribute with to your project or to the team. But if you have that knowledge, it's always better than like it's always more than some sort of certification, because you can actually prove them to whoever they are, either recruiter or some manager or team members, you have that knowledge that you can show them, and you can prove them that you are capable in this field. And I think that that's more appreciated than the certification. Certification is a nice bonus, and it can give you some heads up before you even start the conversation. Marco, you're on mute, or you're...
Yes. Sorry. I would say that the certification is more like confirmation that you know this, and that, I don't know, some institution, like this case Microsoft, certifies that you know this. For example, I don't know, you mentioned Office 365 fundamentals, so it certifies that Thomas knows what are the listed key points under that certification, knows that the things. We have here also Martin Tatar, which is Microsoft Community Program Manager. Especially I know him from MVP community. So he is also answering some of the questions. We will have him on the panel on Thursday with Konstantinos, talking about how as a students can you go to MVP program of the Microsoft, which is Microsoft Most Valuable Professionals. And I agree with his answer, because the knowledge, you need to have a knowledge, so you can have here is Martin, so you can get the certificates, and to pass the certificates. I mean, because the exams that are for the certificate, you first needs to be passed. Like actually, the vouchers that we are giving these days on the conference are exams, the codes, vouchers where you can register exam and go to that exam, and if you pass, you receive the certificate. If you don't pass, you can try next time again. There is no limit on that one. In my opinion, it is important to have volunteering experience. Should we add it to our CV?
Yeah,
I would go with you, Thomas. Later, I will go with the university recruiters to answer this. That's why. But
I mean, like, I don't want to feel like I'm taking space from Luiza or from Leona. So, but okay. If you say that, okay. And so nice to see Martin here. Hello, Martin. So volunteering experience is definitely always a good example of showing that. How you can go beyond the responsibilities you have. You have your school, you have your maybe some part-time job or something like that. But volunteering experience always shows like you are able to go beyond that and just add something extra. Like for example, Microsoft Learns You Ambassadors are something extra that you do for yourself that you don't have to. And it's always a great thing to see the people that are willing to do more because they want to do something for themselves or something for the others as well. And I see another question about projects, and that's definitely also a big yes to have projects on your portfolio, because in that way you can display your work to everyone who is looking at your profile, and getting kind of an image of what you do and how you do it. I have some projects on my LinkedIn profile as well, from the social media campaigns that we did, or from the pages that I did, and it basically shows like the work behind me, and I think like that's I appreciate that when I see that on the other profiles, personally. So.
Yeah, there is another one which I already tried to answer. It's which certificate course of Microsoft should I do first as a non-coder? I said to him, depending on which career path you want to go, because there is also certification for developers. I mean, for developing stuffs and all the things. There is also certification for IT administration, system engineering, which are now a little bit going to the cloud, like modern workplace certifications. But you also have here a collaboration certifications like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Power Platforms, which may have little bit maybe coding, but are not courses for coders. So from fundamentals, I would say that you can choose anyone, because there is no code or little code, but it's not a big deal, I would say, even if you're not coder to succeed, to have it. But maybe Tomas has some different answer if, or you want to just add something.
No, as you said, it depends. Really, it depends on what you want to explore and what you want to do. I would say that before you even sign up for some kind of certification, try to go on either Microsoft Learn or find other sources, and just look what's included in the, for example, like Power Platform Fundamentals certification, or if you wanna explore some kind of Microsoft 365 administration or Teams administration and so on. Just do a little bit of research, what's the point of the whole certification, what's the content of it, and if that is in interest of you, go for it, try it, and I think if you will find either you like it or you will say that that's not the way for you, and you can try anything else really. And I see Luiza's comment in the chat, and I also agree on the coding competitions you added as last. So also some kind of big achievements you have, or anything that you want to share. It's also should be on your CV or on your LinkedIn. Yeah.
I posted in the chat some roadmap for Microsoft certification. I'm not sure if this is the latest. I found it as it is from 2019, so might be a new one. But my idea was just to see how the certification are divided. You have like a productivity certification, computer science, IT infrastructure and cloud, and data science. For example, if you are not non-coder, productivity will be, I guess, the best one, but you can also check, I don't know, IT infrastructure. There is no coding, but it's still some level of computer networks engineering, some point of that. I wanted to point that there are not just one, but you are having different tracks or career path that I mentioned, what you want to focus. Because some, if you go in deeper in the certification, we will talk about tomorrow on the panel, some certificates require that you have previous certificate achieved, so you can get this one. You cannot just go, I want that one, and you pass the exam and you just get. Some are connected that you must have, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 certificates to get that title or that new certificate. And about that, you mentioned someone about the projects. Yes, I agree with Tomas that it's best if you have something in the portfolio as a project. And I know that as a student, this is maybe a little bit difficult because you are maybe didn't have the chance or something working on a project. But I will encourage here to try to see. I know that on the university you always have a projects, so try maybe those projects. I don't know, to after at the university to try to do something more on that one and put it as a project on your LinkedIn or on your CV. Try to, I don't know, connect with Azure or something. So to have at the start something, because I mean the recruiters will tell later, but I think that when someone is interviewing you or when someone is seeing your profile, it's better if you had something to take a look of what have you done, because just a profile, it's what I can read that you have been on courses or what classes you have heard, but I don't know how you work or what you have done on this case. Okay. Okay, I would say now maybe because more or less we covered the both I don't know, things. I would say if Luiza and Leona would like to present their presentation, and after that to go with more questions from their side and what they can, I don't know, tell us about more, and what we need to prepare, or I don't know, for the interview, for the process. Yeah, something like that.
So just give me a moment and I will open the presentation.
Yes, feel free.
And meanwhile, Luiza, you can introduce yourself, for example.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much, Leona. While my colleague Leona is sharing the presentation deck that we have for everyone, I just want to say thank you for joining us for this session. We are super excited to be speaking with you today, and we are going to walk you through the culture at Microsoft, while also diving deeper into our recruitment and selection process. And we are also going to share a couple of insights into how to better prepare for these interviews. So to start off with the introductions, my name is Luiza. I am currently based in Bucharest in Romania, and I have been a university recruiter for about 2 years and a half now. I am recruiting for engineering interns and full-time candidates for several of the development sites that we have across EMEA. And to get a bit more personal, I am passionate about cosmology. I know this is a very odd one, but I'm trying to understand a bit more about the universe. And even if math and physics are definitely not one of my strengths. So that's it about me. I will pass it to my colleague Leona now for her introduction.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Luiza. And before I introduce myself, I will just double check if you all can see the presentation, just to make sure.
Yes, we see.
It should be ready by now. Brilliant. That's perfect. So my name is Leona Kroupova. I'm also sending greetings to all of you. I'm located in the Czech Republic. So if there is anyone else from the Czech Republic here on the call, I'm sending my greetings. You can even write in the chat from which city you are. I have joined Microsoft just lately. It was actually at the beginning of September, and I am a colleague of you, Luiza. I'm also a university recruiter, and actually I think it's worth mentioning that both me as well as Luiza, we focus on engineering recruitment. So a lot of what we are going to share and present today is going to be mainly like technical positions related. Not only, we will talk about the overall process as well as about the company itself and the values and such. But just please be aware of that there are several different recruiting organizations here in Microsoft. And that's, I suppose, all you might need to know about me. So I will pass my word back to Luiza, and please, Luiza, let me know when I should be moving to the next slides. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Leona. We can actually move to the second slide. So we want to provide you with some information about the company, the culture at Microsoft, because we think this is an important part for you to consider when you're preparing for your interview with us. But it's also good to have insights into our culture to see if it would be a fit for your professional and personal expectations as well. Culture is a very big thing nowadays, so that's why we want to dig a bit deeper into it as well. So, as some of you probably already know, Microsoft was founded in 1975 by Bill Gates and Paul Allen. And back then, Bill Gates famously declared that Microsoft's mission statement is the following: to put a computer on every desk and in every home. And that seemed very bold in the beginning, right? But these two individuals had an ambitious idea to improve personal computing. And even though our mission has changed, what fueled the company then, it's actually the same as it is today. And this is a passion for learning and a passion for innovation. Over time, this passion that I'm talking about has taken us from a small startup to a 1 trillion company with nearly 150,000 employees in over 120 countries. And I have a fun fact about this. There are about, and I hope I'm not wrong here, but there are about 175 countries in the world, and we operate in 120 of them, which I think it's pretty impressive because all the teams at Microsoft and all the development sites that we have are very much culturally diverse. We have people coming in from all over the world working in Czech Republic, in Norway, in Denmark. So if you're going to join any of our sites, you're going to be meeting lots of people from all across the globe. Leona, I believe we can move to the next slide. Today, our reach is truly global, as you might imagine, both in terms of the countries in which we have a presence, as well as in the consumers who use our products, services, and technology. And we did that by creating products and services that people love. Our products and services impact a broad set of customers across many touch points. So the breadth and scale of Microsoft is large and continues to grow day by day. So here are a few points of interest. We have more than 800 million devices running Windows 10. We're going to see what happens with Windows 11, and we're going to provide an update on that. We also donated software and services to help nonprofit organizations, and this was all worth more than 1.4 billion US dollars. When it comes to GitHub, probably some of you already know this, but this is a big stance in going from competing with GitHub to actually partnering with them. So by acquiring GitHub, we hope to gain a wider adoption across the developer community. One cool thing is that we're empowering GitHub to continue functioning as a developer-first ethos, and they operate independently, but they have been acquired by Microsoft. And the last point in there would be about donations. Microsoft donated in 2019 more than 163 million US dollars, and this actually includes this is actually a number that is updated for 2020. I don't have the specific number, but I've heard it's definitely much higher. So you can see the impact that Microsoft has, not only to the employees that are working for Microsoft, but for the wider society as well. So we can move to the next slide, Leona, please. You're going to be seeing a picture of Satya Nadella, and hopefully everyone knows who Satya Nadella is. And this picture was actually taken about 2 hours after the announcement that he would be CEO, taking over as the third leader in the company over the 45-year-long history. So it was in June 2015 when Satya put Microsoft on some sort of revolution towards empowering the globe, and to match this move towards a future of that is focused on empathy and on innovation, Microsoft adopted a new mission statement, which in my opinion seems to be even bolder than the previous one. So we can move to the next slide so everyone can see Microsoft's current mission. And that is to empower every single person and organization on the planet to achieve more. And the previous mission we believed was achieved. Almost everyone has a computer nowadays, so the new one is providing direction as to where Microsoft is headed, and we're very hopeful that we are going to be able to say in a couple of years' time that this mission has also been achieved. We can move forward, and in addition to our mission statement, we also have values that each Microsoft employee is expected to uphold. And these are the three Microsoft values. So we have respect, integrity, and accountability. These are very good points to keep in mind when you're interviewing with Microsoft, because culture is very important here. So I feel it's just adding value when it comes to preparation for these interviews. So to complement the three values, there are 5 components on the next slide that make up our culture. For all employees at Microsoft, it's important to know and embrace these pillars in our work and interactions with others. So that's why it's relevant for you to be aware of them as well. Growth mindset is the first one. And if you join Microsoft, you're going to be hearing lots of talk around the growth mindset part. And this is actually a frame of mind. We adopt, having a growth mindset means being a constant learner who understands that failure is just part of the learning process. So if you're going to join Microsoft, discuss this with your manager. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Everyone is encouraged to, not be afraid of failure as long as you are willing to learn from any mistakes that you make. We're only human, so those are going to happen from time to time, but it's important to have this growth mindset in mind. Of course, the other ones are equally important. We have customer obsession, and when we talk about customers, we don't only talk about external customers. So other colleagues in other departments or other business functions might be your internal customers. So that's why knowing and listening to our colleagues or external customers is important, because we are all building or helping building products that benefit and empower everyone. The environment at Microsoft is diverse and inclusive. We have this one Microsoft mindset, and that means we are not siloed in our work, but instead we are encouraged to collaborate with one another, having the same mission in mind. So here, for your interview preparation, it's important to kind of focus on collaboration, because collaboration is a very big part of the culture at Microsoft. And the last pillar that you see there is making a difference. And of course, everyone, I believe, wants to make a difference at work. We spend so much time at work. It would be a shame not to see your impact and see the difference that you've made, even if it's small, because all the small contributions actually contribute to the bigger goal and the bigger mission of Microsoft. So every single thing that we do, every single project is definitely making a difference somewhere. We can move to the next slide now. And I promise we're going to start talking about our recruitment process in a minute. But I wanted all of you to see this quote from Satya, because achieving our mission requires us to evolve our culture. So here, the culture part is very important, and it all starts with a growth mindset. A passion to learn and bring your best every day to make a bigger difference in the world. We can move to the next slide, Leona. So to support our mission, we recognize that diversity is very valuable, because it helps us find and implement solutions that help empower every person on the planet to achieve more. So we're coming back to our mission statement here. So if we manage to convince you to try to join Microsoft, we can move to the next slide, Leona. But I'm very happy to let you know that the university recruitment team is recruiting for both full-time and internship opportunities. We hire students and graduates into Ireland, Czech Republic, Estonia, Denmark. Other countries where we have recruited into are Norway, and from outside of the European Union, we also hire into Africa. The countries here would be Nigeria and Kenya, and we also hire into the UK. So for those who are interested in joining as interns, please know that we have a great internship program. Did you know that Microsoft internship program spans over 40 countries across 6 different continents? I think this is amazing. If you're going to join us as interns, you're going to be part of such a global community. And if you have a good internship performance, you have very high chances of being converted to a full-time role after your graduation date. So this is usually done without any additional recruitment process, which I think is music to everyone's ears. I don't think there's anyone who enjoys interviewing all the time. So if you're going to get converted, that's actually a very smooth process. If you have a very successful internship experience, it is possible that you just receive an offer for a full-time role at the end of your internship with a start date after your graduation date. So this is a very smooth conversion process, and we do see lots of our interns being converted to full-time employees, and it's just amazing for us to kind of watch them grow from interns into full-time roles, and their career progression in this way is very smooth, is very structured, and people have been enjoying interning with us, and probably that's part of the reason why they want to come back as well. So I believe I am going to pass it to Leona now, because she's going to be sharing some more useful information.
Definitely, and thank you very much, Luiza, and thank you very much for covering this part of the presentation. Actually, you're a great speaker, and I would definitely sign everything what you said about the company values and how important the company culture is here. Definitely it is. And just before I move to the next slides, I just noticed some comments here in the chat. And first question was about if there are any positions in Macedonia. Unfortunately, not exactly in Macedonia. As Luiza mentioned, we've got positions for early in career talents opened, for example, in the Czech Republic, in Estonia, in Ireland, we've got positions in UK. There might be some positions also opened in Romania soon. So please check out our career sites. And I actually may move to the next slide now because I'm going to talk about our career sites. And I noticed that our previous speaker referred to the career sites, and he mentioned himself that actually he in the end found the position on LinkedIn and applied via LinkedIn. So here definitely, who has not done his or her research on our career sites, please don't hesitate and go ahead. We've got a special university recruitment section on our career sites, and there you actually can also find some useful tips and tricks, for example, how to prepare for an interview. You can also find some interesting information about the internships themselves, and I would say quite some useful information in general. But yes, we don't have our positions posted only there. They appear also on LinkedIn. And what we recruiters do, we of course also connect with our target audience, and we may even contact you via LinkedIn messages. We try to do it pretty often to basically address our potential future candidates and future employees actively via LinkedIn. Except from our career sites, you can also find our positions, for example, on Glassdoor. You can even check out Microsoft rating as a company there on Glassdoor, because our employees share their experience on Glassdoor and evaluate the company environment itself. And I would say that we've got pretty nice rating there. Also, we've got positions posted, for example, on Indeed or on Monster. Moving on. I would like to now walk you through our hiring process. So if by any chance you ever apply for our positions, you might know what you may expect. So, of course, you have to apply first. I'm going to talk about the application process itself a bit later on. Then once you apply, your CV got actually submitted into the system, and we recruiters, we may see your CV, and we are the first person who reviews your CV. So we simply screen your profile, and we try to figure out whether you may match just from the CV the criteria for the position. If you do meet the criteria, then basically we schedule a first interview round with you, and we also send you a short coding task. And just to mention once again that in this moment, I'm going to be talking a lot about early in career positions, both internships as well as fresh graduate roles, and we will mainly focus on engineering roles. However, we do not have only technical position in Microsoft. For example, here in Microsoft Prague, we've got so-called go-to-market positions. We've got plenty of sales positions and such. So just for now, we focus on the technical ones. So back to the first round interview, which I mentioned. If you pass the first interview round, you will go for a second interview round, which is so-called final round event, or you can also call it assessment center, but I will elaborate on that later on. So moving on. Yes. I would like to share some CV tips and tricks with you. And this, what you learn here might not be applicable only for Microsoft especially. So if you decide to apply for any position with any company, I believe you might find it pretty useful. And some of the tips have been already mentioned before our presentation. However, I'm sorry if I repeat some. Definitely, the first thing which I would like you to encourage to do, if you haven't done so yet, please or really go ahead and create a LinkedIn profile. If you've got LinkedIn profile created, but you are not very much active on that profile, go ahead and update your profile, create a network on LinkedIn. You can follow many companies, you can follow even the recruiters, and you can basically get updated on events which are happening online, for example, like such events today. And of course, in case you are available on LinkedIn, there is obviously a chance that a recruiter can contact you actively from his or her side as well. Another tip, just a practical, very practical small tip, is that if you create your CV, I would definitely encourage you to always save your CV in PDF format and upload your CV in PDF format rather than in Word. It simply just looks better. Very small tip. Also, please, we don't expect you to write any novels. Actually, recruiters are usually super busy, so we do not really appreciate very long CVs, for example, 10 pages and more. I would rather keep it short. 2 or max 3 pages is absolutely sufficient. I very often hear questions whether you should also attach your photo into the CV or not really. Honestly, we truly do not care, because we really do not care whether you are a male or a female or what kind of race you are. We obviously do care only about your talent and about your potential, so it's absolutely up to you. Some find it more comfortable to present themselves even visually, but you are definitely not required to do so. But what is definitely useful to always provide correct contact details, and you would be actually surprised how many times it happens that the candidate makes some typo in the email address or in the phone number, and then we've got actually problems to get back to the candidate. So really encouragement from my side, always make sure that your contact details are correct there. For those who are coding, if you've got for example, GitHub or Stack Overflow or GitLab profile created, go ahead and share that with us. I always like to check out these links and see basically on what the candidate is working. If you've got, for example, your private web page, definitely share that with us as well. The more we learn about you, the better. Also, what I would encourage is I would focus only on your experience which are anyhow relevant to the position you applied for. And on such items, I would definitely encourage you to elaborate. For example, if you put in your CV that you worked as part-time software developer, but you don't mention in which language you are coding, on what kind of project you worked, for which company and such, it's always hard for us to learn, basically. Yeah, so you may add 1 or 2 or 3 sentences basically to your experience which you've got. Again, we talk about early in career positions here, so please note that we really do not expect you to have 10 years of experience for early in career position, either internships or a fresh graduate role. We are here searching for the potential. So it's great if you are doing some extra things. For example, I don't know, going for hackathons or being part of some community, or for example, taking part in this Microsoft Ambassador program. Yes, it's great. Definitely put it into your CV. It may nicely shine in your CV, and it always shows that you are taking some extra steps and you are trying to stand out. So my encouragement is the more experience you've got, the better, of course. But on the other hand, we don't expect you to know it all, and we do realize that you all are still students. And as I said, we don't expect you to have 10 years of experience. Yes, my note here is also do not give up. It may happen that you apply for the role several times and you succeed only, for example, after 2nd or 3rd try. Still, please don't give up. Yeah. Moving to the next slide. Yes, the application process. So Definitely, before you may apply for a position, you have to create a profile on our career site. So you're supposed to upload certain details, which is actually great because once you create a profile, you can keep applying for many other roles, and you will have in your candidate zone the overview of all the positions you applied for, and also the stages in which you are, like for the positions you applied. Yes. So you're just supposed to upload your CV, and what is very much crucial for us is that you correctly state at which university you study and in which year of studies you are currently. I've seen the question in the chat, and just please let me mention that for the internship programs, we focus on candidates who are in their penultimate years of studies, meaning that they've got one extra year to finish their studies. And for the fresh graduates roles, we are searching for candidates who are currently in their final years of studies. So please keep that in mind. This is criteria which you first need to meet, and only after that we can basically move to the next steps, stages of the interviewing process. Actually, for the engineering roles, we are mainly talking here. It's great if you've got or if you study computer science, ideally, but I've seen really nice profiles from electrical engineering fields as well, for example, or mathematics or bioengineering, or for example, even business informatics. So these are also like study fields you might be, or they might be easily considered, but of course, computer science, it's like always the rule of thumb here. So that's it. Moving to the next slide. Yeah. The virtual process itself. So before the corona pandemics came, we actually had, or our second interview rounds were happening on site. So yes, we of course asked the candidates to upload their CVs. We had the first interview round with them over Skype actually, but we always invited our candidates for the second interview rounds on site. So it was on one hand very beneficial for the candidates to see our Microsoft sites. It's great if you meet with the people, with the interviewers, or maybe if, with your future colleagues personally. On the other hand, I have to admit that it must have been pretty much time consuming, and from the logistics perspective, very much challenging as well. So Corona definitely brought some difficulties here. On the other hand, these days we are able to assess at the same time different candidates from different locations operating in different time zones and such. So I would say that we managed to improve our virtual processes for that purposes very well. And we actually, of course, use our Microsoft tools to assess our candidates. As I already mentioned, we use for the first interview round Skype, and for the second interview round we use Teams. So yeah, it's beneficial as well. Yes. Let me talk a little bit more about the virtual process itself. Yes, I will actually move to the next slide, because first I would like to talk about the first interview round. As I said, after we screen your profile and we basically figure out that you might be a great candidate for the position, we get back to you and we invite you for the first interview round. You will get all the information from our side, and we actually try to walk you through the whole interviewing process and to always be available for you. So you will have our contact details, and we will keep updating you on your stage in this hiring process, and also on what you may expect from us. So the first interview round is organized via Skype, and you speak with one of the recruiters. Most often they are actually native speakers. However, we do expect that you might not be a native speaker, and it is absolutely fine with us. You are supposed to, or this interview takes approximately 30 minutes, and you get some behavioral questions as well as some logical tasks. And you are supposed to basically answer these questions, and based on your answers, we may evaluate you based on several criteria. At the same time, we also sent you a Codility test. We use the Codility application for that, so that basically we may see afterwards how you dealt with this coding challenge. And it's actually up to you what kind of language you use for the coding purposes. We leave it up to you, so it's your matter of choice. And I will talk a little bit also about the second interview round, and then I will pass my word back to Luiza. So let me introduce you the second interview round, so-called assessment center, or so-called final round event, from, let's say, the perspective of the interviewers, which might be, let's say, kind of interesting for you as well. So just to let you know, the final round events are organized, depends on the site, but for example, here in the Czech Republic, we organize them almost every month, I would say, and we invite 24 candidates, and the event takes 3 days. So there are morning interviewing slots as well as afternoon interviewing slots. And please expect, in case you are invited for the second interview round, that it will take you the whole half day. So you will spend at least 4 to 5 hours being interviewed. You will have 4 times one-to-one session with our interviewers, and you will be asked as well as logical questions, or you will be asked logical questions as well as some behavioral questions, and you might even get some practical tasks. And just to share from my end, and then I will pass my word to Luiza, at the end of the so-called interview loops, morning sessions or afternoon sessions, we always get in touch with the interviewers afterwards, and we ask them for the evaluation, and we try to be really, really thorough, and we take our time to evaluate all the candidates, and of course then the interviewers make the hire, no hire decisions here. And I think that Luiza now can shed a light on how it works from the candidate side, so I will pass my word to you, Luiza.
Thank you so much, Leona. I just wanted to mention that I believe for the first round of interviews, we switched from Skype to Microsoft Teams. So you're actually going to have your first round interviews with on Microsoft Teams. We indeed used to do it on Skype, but we found that Microsoft Teams is actually a bit more efficient when it comes to these interviews. And of course, the final round interviews, so the 4 interviews that my colleague Leona mentioned, will be via Microsoft Teams as well. When it comes to what happens on the candidate end, we are going to take a lot of care of all the candidates that we have, because how our team functions is that we have a recruiter that is looking out for the first part of the process, so screening, organizing the final round event, being there on the day with the interviewers, and making sure that we have the decisions at the end of the event. But there is going to be another person from our team who is going to be in constant communication with everyone that is being invited for the final round or assessment center session. So you are going to have a recruiter reach out to you and make sure that the scheduling is clear for you, make sure that you have the correct links that you need to access for your interview sessions, make sure that you are aware of the time zones and the scheduling and all the breaks that you're going to have. And for that purpose, there is going to be a preparation call that you're going to have with one member of our team. And during the preparation call, my colleague will go through every single thing that you need to know about your upcoming interviews. You're going to be discussing schedule. You're going to be discussing the links that you need to join. There are going to be a couple of interview tips and tricks shared in that session. And of course, this person person that will keep in touch with you throughout the process is also going to be the one who delivers the final outcome. For the successful candidates, of course, we're going to extend the offer, and we're going to take our time to walk you through the offer and all the benefits attached to it. And in case you're not successful, we are going to be able to provide some specific feedback on what we think you could improve, or what we think you could learn in the next couple of months or the next year to be able to be successful when you apply again for one of our openings. So we just want to make sure that you know you're going to be looked after. You're going to know at each step who to reach out to in case of any questions. And we try to organize this whole final round in a very clear way, because we know that the experience of interviewing with Microsoft can be very intense and can be very stressful. So we try to make everything else clear and concise for you not to worry about it. So if you happen to be invited to one of our final round interviews, you can definitely focus on preparation and on your technical skills, but don't worry about the logistics, because we got that covered, and we're going to make sure you know everything you need to know. As you can see on the slides, we have a couple of points about the interviewers. The interviewers are definitely not scary. Some of them have been in your shoes before. Some of them have been university hires, and that's why you are going to be able to kind of build rapport with them, because they might have a very similar career path to Microsoft. Some of them are even intern managers, so they kind of know more about the internship program. They know what to expect from an intern. We try to bring in interviewers that would make you feel comfortable and, of course, perform to your best abilities during the day. I want to mention something here about English not being your first language, because I know from my personal experience, when I finished university, I was very much stressed about having, perfect English, not to make any mistakes, but I realized that's not important. So as long as you can communicate your thoughts, even if you make some mistakes here and there, don't worry too much about it. We have many people in Microsoft whose first language is not English, so definitely don't worry about that. Make sure you can express your thoughts and your knowledge, but don't stress too much about having that perfect English. And one piece of advice here, but we're going to dig a bit deeper into the interview tips and tricks, would be to engage with your interviewers. I've actually shadowed a couple of interviews that our engineers are having with our candidates, and I can't tell you how important it is to keep an open mind and treat these interview sessions as discussions, because you are free to ask questions, especially at the end. If you have any curiosities or anything that you want to ask your interviewer, you are more than welcome to do so. Or if you don't understand the question, if you need clarity when it comes to the technical task, you can definitely, engage with your interviewer and try to perform to your best ability. We can move to the next slide, because we're going to talk a bit more practically about the interview tips and tricks. I know that probably this is something that you are all curious about, so we can move to the next slide, Leona. Good. When it comes to these interviews, preparation and research are key, because you are going to be expected to demonstrate your technical knowledge. And to also talk about your experience, either at university or any work experience that you have. You can talk about personal projects, hackathons, competitions, anything that you feel it's relevant for the questions that you're going to be asked. Because the way in which our interviews are structured would be, the first part of the interview is more like a discussion around your soft skills. So you're going to be receiving questions that would enable you to showcase your soft skills. And for that, it's very important to think in advance of any examples that you could leverage, because on the spot, it's very difficult to have a clear mind and come up with the best example. But if you do some preparation beforehand, if you think of any outstanding projects that you've been part of, or any achievements that you've had, it goes a long way. The information is going to come to you much quicker if you do some preparation beforehand. You can definitely talk about non-school related projects that are relevant. You can talk about your work experience. As I've said, anything that would make you stand out, you can definitely use. And ask for feedback. This part is very important. We've seen candidates who ask for feedback for their first interview session, and they applied that feedback to their second, third, and fourth interview. And this is the way in which these candidates managed to get the role at Microsoft, because they were actively listening and they were applying the feedback that they received on the spot. So don't be afraid to ask for feedback at the end of an interview session. We could move to the next slide. Thank you, Leona. In terms of a couple of interview tips, I know this is not very practical because it's about the things that you can do to ace these interviews, but sometimes even the most obvious things, if you don't say them, they're not, in the back of your mind. So you're not necessarily focusing on them. So that's why I want to remind everyone to be honest and upfront about what you know and what you don't know. Let's say an interviewer is asking you if you are familiar with a specific type of technology or anything really. If you're not aware of how to work with that technology, or if you've never heard that term, or if you feel you don't have enough experience to be able to talk through that question, make sure you let the interviewer know, and make sure you let them know how you're planning to develop this skill in the coming months or in the coming year. It's very much appreciated to be completely honest and not try to come up with an answer if you're not sure of it. Honesty is definitely the best policy here. I'm assuming everyone here has a passion for technology and for let's say coding. Some of you might have coding abilities, and if you're going for an engineering, for a software engineer type of role, that is going to be needed. So if you're passionate about that, make sure to show excitement and show this passion and interest that you have in technology, because this is one of the ways in which you can build rapport with your interviewer. All our engineers are super passionate about what they do, so this can be a common ground for you and the interviewer. If possible, present yourself with confidence. This might not come in easy for some people. So if you don't feel necessarily comfortable with being super confident, that's perfectly fine. Just be yourself. But if possible, to kind of present yourself with confidence, I think it can definitely help you and set the mood for the whole interview session. And we do have some coding interview tips on a link there on the slide, and we're going to copy it into the chat box, so you can access that in your own time when you can. We can move to the next slide, Leona. Thank you. So as my colleague Leona was mentioning, and as I mentioned as well, there is going to be a technical part to your interviews. And for these coding questions that you are going to get, we think these six steps are the most relevant ones. And the first one would be understanding the problem. We see that many candidates sometimes struggle with this part, understanding the problem, because the questions are designed to be a bit more difficult. So don't be discouraged. If there's anything that you don't understand about the problem, you can definitely ask for clarifying questions, and be very careful when the interviewers answer your clarifying questions, because there might be some hints there on how to approach the problem. So it's a very good way to ensure that you're not moving forward with the coding part before you understand the question. Once you understood the question, of course, start coding or start doing anything needed to solve or to answer that question. It's very good to test your algorithm before you code. And when it comes to coding, the advice here would be to code in a clear and simple manner. And you can code in whatever language you feel most comfortable with. But it has to be object-oriented. Test your code and, of course, ask again for feedback. It's super, super important, as I've said, for your next interview session. So do make sure to ask for feedback at the end. We can move to the next question, the next slide, Leona. Thank you. Cool. So as we've mentioned, I think, Leona, this is your...
Yeah. I can take over here, Luiza. Thank you very much. Yes, actually, I'm just gonna wrap it up here, the presentation, by introducing you for which exact position we are hiring here in this university recruitment engineering team. However, please be aware, as I already mentioned, me and my colleague Luiza, we are hiring for the technical roles. At the same time, we've got colleagues who are hiring for early in career talents for non-technical roles. So if you check out our career sites, you will see that you can also find non-technical positions there, sorry, but we will, or I will gonna introduce you only the technical ones. So the first position and the position for which we hire in, I would say, 99 cases, or for which we've got like the most demand. We call this term demand as the requirement from the business. It is actually software engineering position. It's the regular software developer position. Yeah. And for that position, we search mainly candidates who've got experience with object-oriented programming languages. It may be Java, it may be C, it may be C#, C++. We really do not mind if you, for example, can't code in C#. That's all right. We will learn that. We've got some teams, for example, in Teams organization, where our developers work also with languages such JavaScript, and they focus more on front end. But generally, I have to say that we mainly focus on junior backend software engineers and similar profiles, just to share with you. On the other, or at the same time, we do not focus only on the technical competencies of that specific candidate when we talk about the interviews, but the candidate is at the same time assessed for other competencies. And one of them is, for example, collaboration. It is also customer focus. It's a growth mindset. So, of course, it's very important that our candidates got certain technical excellence, but it's definitely not all. And yes, in this position, basically the candidate is supposed to design, code, and test the code, and of course also do some documentation. The collaboration in the team is very much crucial here, and as I said, it's very important that that our developers are also very much client-oriented here. Yeah. Except from the software development positions, as I shared on the previous slide, we've got also data scientist positions, SRE, site reliability engineer positions, and program manager positions. These are, I would say, pretty niche roles, and we do not fill them pretty often. So as I mentioned, generally we search for software development engineers. However, let me share just some general information about the PMs, the program managers. Those are actually also candidates who should have technical background and ideally certain coding experience, but they mainly are focused on bringing up new features in our products and actually predicting what the customers may appreciate prior the customers may even realize that they would appreciate that. So they should be so-called evangelists, apologies, and they should definitely know where the whole field is heading. They have to collaborate with the developers, and they should be driving the whole project here. And except from PMs, we've got also so-called SREs. And those candidates should be not only software development oriented. It's great if they've got some coding experience, definitely. However, they should have also experience with IT operations. So they are actually working on operational tasks, and they are dealing with the client. They are dealing with incidents, escalations, and such. But at the same time, they are searching for the space for automation here. So they should definitely have experience from both sides, IT operations as well as development. But as I said, these are pretty niche roles, and actually we haven't opened those positions for this season yet. So we haven't faced our candidates for these roles. However, we will open some of the positions soon. And I actually noticed some questions in the chat, so I might cover them up as well, because I noticed a question about our internships, whether they are opened throughout the whole year. And here I have to say that our hiring is very much seasonal. We actually open the roles in the autumn period, and we keep searching and interviewing our candidates, I would say, till the springtime. And by the springtime, we should have our hires done so that they can start their internships or their fresh graduate positions in the summer period, ideally. For interns, it's very much specific because we are trying to fill the gap when you are not studied during the summer period, and you can easily go for full-time internship, which lasts 12 weeks here, and then you can continue with your studies. With the full-time candidates, it's a bit easier because we try to always agree on when exactly their studies may finish, and we may adjust the starting date accordingly. And I think that we just got to the end of the presentation, and I think that now is actually the great time for your questions, or we can even review the questions in the chat, and we can have a look into that together. So.
Yeah, thank you very much for the presentation. I think, yeah, we can take a look if some of the questions were not answered in the chat. I think that some of them are asking was, I don't know if this is clear. I saw that there is a question, is it possible an applicant for Eastern Europe to get a tech internship in another location? So, because some of the people that are here that are attending are not from the location that you mentioned you have jobs or open position for internship. So if they apply, for example, can they get accepted? They need to come at that location to study? How is this process? Not study, sorry, to work.
Yeah, okay, so I may cover this question. Definitely, we are very much open for candidates from CEE location. Just to mention one thing, actually for the internships, you have to meet certain criteria, since basically we are looking for European Union candidates. For the full-time roles, we are searching for candidates throughout the whole world, so it's absolutely fine.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. There is another question. What would you say is a good career specialization for a competitive programmer?
Come to join us and become a software developer here. I've seen some competitive programmers before during our final round events, and usually they are very much successful. They've got this sharp thinking. Yeah, so definitely I would encourage you to do so.
Okay, any other questions?
And also, just to add up to this, what I just said, we've got many different teams in Microsoft. We've got different organizations. We've got different teams. So, every team is different. You would work with different tools on different products and such. So, generally, it's very hard to say. It's great if you meet with the interviewers and you share, for example, what's your passion? What would you like to do? And we actually try to decide the exact placement into the organization and within the organization, and in the specific teams with the interviewers themselves, who are either managers or senior developers, all of them very, very well trained for the interviewing, and we always search for the best solution for our candidates, because we've got the candidates at heart, and it's very important for us basically to keep them satisfied and to make them happy within Microsoft. Yeah. So that's it.
Okay, I think I have one question, but I think you already answered this. If someone had an internship and then he wants to join the Microsoft, it's more easy, how to say, not easy, but the process is more, not easy, but more, I don't know what word to use.
Yeah, I can take this one. Thank you,
Yeah.
Marco. I think this is a very good question because it allows me to talk a bit about the internship program. So all the interns that are going to join us for the internship program, they have a very clear performance assessment during the internship. Because the internship is only 12 weeks long, and summer goes by super quickly, we make sure that every single intern has 3 discussions with their manager about performance. There's going to be one at the beginning when the manager and the intern are setting the expectations when it comes to the project and the work that the intern needs to do, and timelines as well. And then there's another performance discussion. I don't want to make it sound too official, but you're basically going to discuss with your manager about your project and the things that you need to do, what you're doing well, what you're not doing so well. So it's not something super formal. It's just discussing with your manager about your project and your performance. So there's going to be one in the middle of your internship, and then there's going to be one at the end, just before you offboard with us. So this is one way in which we ensure that our interns know if they're off track with their performance, because we want to make sure they have time to take the feedback from the manager and actually apply it. So at the end of the internship, we have those 3 discussions, which are captured in a tool that we have. So you're going to have everything documented. And if your performance as an intern is as expected, we are going to be discussing with the teams, with the team that you're going to be part of. And if everything is okay and we have everything we need, we're going to be able to extend a full-time offer just before you offboard from your internship. Of course, this is very much depends on your graduation date as well. So let's say you are going to intern with us in summer 2022. You're going to spend the summer with us. At the end of the summer, you're going to receive a full-time offer, hopefully. So that means you need to start in 2023 after your graduation. So if you don't have your graduation in 2023, you're not going to be eligible for a full-time conversion, because you're not going to be able to start with us full-time. So that would make you returning internship eligible. There have been cases where we have converted interns to returning interns. So basically we offered them another internship position, and we can hopefully convert this person the following year to a full-time role. But the process is very clear, it's very structured, and I believe it's because we have these discussions about performance. You're going to know exactly whether you're on track or not with everything that you do and with your project. And every single thing that you do during your internship counts, because it's not going to be all work. It's not going to be all project work. There are going to be lots of other activities that you're going to be invited to. Last summer, we had an intern hack. We had some engineering panel, and our interns actually helped us organize everything and make sure people attended. So you can get involved in many different things, and every single thing that you do during your internship matters to the final outcome. So don't just be focused on your project. If you can, make sure to get involved in other activities. And there are also fun activities. We've done online escape rooms. So we've done what else? We had every Friday we had a get together with all the interns, and we played games and trivia, and we had Netflix parties. So there's going to be some fun as well, even if you're going to be remote, because we don't know at the moment what's going to happen with the pandemic. So no one knows. But if the internship program is going to be remote again, we're going to make sure to have, some fun online activities.
So I can ask here another question to what you discussed. So if for example it will be remote, can then still apply those people that cannot come to internship, for example, because of the visa or other European Union things that you mentioned?
So because we don't know at the moment what's going to happen, we are considering candidates that do have the work authorization for the locations. Yes. This is only for internships, because I see Leona mentioned that we do sponsor visas.
Only for internship, yes. I hear one question that was not answered is, I'm non-EU area citizen studying in Vienna, Austria. Are there any best possibilities to apply in Microsoft?
Actually, I may try to answer this one to give Luiza some relief. Actually, it depends whether we talk about the fresh graduate role or if we talk about the internship position. At first, it's good to mention that we do not have internships opened for Austria specifically. We've got, for example, for the Czech Republic or Estonia or Ireland. But in this case, we are still talking about European Union countries, and we always need our candidates for internships, especially to basically be European Union citizens. As we already mentioned, and we are trying to be very much transparent here, and I believe that we've got it also in our job descriptions, mentioned as one of the requirements which the candidate needs to meet, that basically the candidates do need to be European Union citizens, since we do not sponsor this visa process. However, if this specific person who asked, sorry, I can't see the comment and the name in this moment, applies for a full-time fresh graduate role or any other full-time role, that the visa sponsorship is already, of course, covered from Microsoft side.
Okay, perfect. The last one, I don't know if it's related to you. What kind of software developers do with Python and Microsoft? I don't know if you can answer this question.
I would rather not. I would rather not try to pretend that I'm a developer and I do understand it so much into the depth myself. We definitely have got guys who work in Python in Microsoft. I'm sure that, for example, and not only for the data scientist roles, but they most often do not use only Python. Yeah. So please, if you are really interested in that, I can even connect you with one of our developers. But if I don't know, I rather say it out loud, and I would not like to confuse you anyhow here.
Perfect, thank you. Are there any other questions that, I don't know, missed or didn't answer? A competitive programmer, let me check. Feedback, okay, applicant. I think from the chat we all answered. Yeah, now it's being such a great MNC, I believe that in near future Microsoft need to change that barrier. Barrier, you mean about the internships and the visa process, or what? EU and non-EU. Okay, yeah, that's the.
So for those who are based outside of the European Union, there might be open positions for you as well. There might be internships available out there. We're just talking about EU because we're looking after EMEA. So EMEA is basically the European Union and Middle East, right? So that is why we're talking specifically about that. But I'm sure there are other university recruitment teams that manage some other positions outside of the EU. So it's not a barrier. It's just that me and Leona are representing the EMEA team. So that is why our roles are very much focused in this way. And that's why the requirements are in this way. But I wouldn't say it's definitely, it's a blocker. You are free to kind of browse for other positions in the location where you have work authorization.
Yes, and I would definitely encourage you to check out our career sites, and in the early in career sections or university recruitment section, you can even search by the location, and you will see that we've got plenty of internships opened all over the world. So as Luiza mentioned, it does not apply for European Union only, our internships. And at the same time, once becoming a Microsoft employee, of course, we encourage our employees to evolve and to basically develop their skills. And there is also a potential to move to different role or to potentially move to different country as well. Yeah, but what we mentioned basically for the internships in the European Union stays the same. Mm-hmm.
There is another question. Sorry.
I just wanted to mention that there is a recruitment team, a university recruitment team in Asia as well. So if you are from that part of the world, you're definitely going to be able to find opportunities in there. That's all I had to say.
There is another question. Is there a plan to expand Microsoft in other countries and other than there already exist ones? I will just answer, I don't know, because in Macedonia we have office for Microsoft, but it doesn't have technical, I mean, it has some support technical people, but it's only, how to say, limited. I think 5 or 10 people maximum are there, and that's why it's not like in the other countries. What I wanted to say here, because of, I know this because of Elisaveta, I know that the office in Greece, which is Microsoft, they are also employing people, students and people from this region. I don't know if that comes under you or something, because I know a lot of times Elisaveta shared the codes for some job opportunities. I'm not sure for internships, but for job opportunities, I'm sure that they have also in Athens, if I'm not wrong, in Greece. So from this region, I think that one is like I don't know, maybe bigger or something like that. But I'm not sure. I'm just talking because I know this from Elisaveta.
And in terms of the expansion, obviously, honestly, I don't know myself. And I believe that every time it's officially announced if there is any expansion planned. So we, of course, do not have any inside information. If we did, we would not share it. But usually this is getting announced publicly and the whole world knows about it. So that's it.
Okay, I would have maybe one more question. Let me just find, I have here somewhere. I just want to check the list. Yes, what you can, I mean, you had a great presentation, but what can you suggest to the students here that they can make, or to continue making some, I don't know how to say it, changes that can make their application outstanding from the others, to not be the same like everyone comes, okay, they have a CV, I don't know, normal CV, normal LinkedIn profile, they apply. What, I don't know, what can you, maybe your eyes can spot if some application is a little bit, I don't know, better in some way, or I don't know, that has something that, okay, you would say like, hey, let's check this one, let's something like that, if I got correct me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I know it's not an easy question, but just some ideas. I don't know. It depends on the person, of course, but I don't know.
Yeah, I can share from my end, and Leona, if you can add anything, because I believe there are a couple of things that you can do to make sure your CV stands out. And it's not only about what information you input in the CV. So if you have a very clear CV, and if you highlight what you want to highlight without, using paragraphs of describing the projects that you were involved into, or, going into too much detail. So in my opinion, the CVs that stand out to me are very clear, concise. They showcase the important parts of the CV. So for example, if you have something that you want to be super visible, you can put it in bold. And it's very good to have a structure. And when it comes to the roles that we have open, you could definitely add your education in the first part of your CV, so it's clear for us when you're going to graduate, what sort of program you're enrolled into, and then you can add your experience. If you add your most recent experience at the top, that's amazing, and a couple of bullet points of the work that you did there, but as I've said, not very long paragraphs. Keep it clean and clear, because as you can imagine, we're going through many applications when we're screening these positions that we have open. So the fact that you have a clear CV with everything that needs to stand out to kind of be super visible, it helps our work as well. So other than that, other than the formatting of your CV, I believe we've covered parts of it when Leona talked about the LinkedIn profile and the way in which you can structure your experience and your work there. But Leona, if you want to add something else.
Yes, let me think. I definitely forgot to mention certain tips. So you've said what would stand out. I would at the same time mention what would definitely not stand out. For example, putting some inappropriate pictures of yourself into the CV. Definitely, please don't do it. Like pictures from parties and such does not belong to the CVs to be attached there. And generally, yeah, like as we already mentioned, like do some additional activities if you can, get involved in some communities. Volunteering is a great idea as well. Some hackathons, competitions, anything additional on the top of like everyone else is doing, it's great. And always try to sell it in your CV. Definitely structured CV. Always when you mention it does not even have to be working experience. It can be even just a part-time job or even just a project. Try to explain what the project was about, what the job was about. And if you put items in your CV as your working experience, ideally state for how long you did work in that specific role. Mention the month and the year, like starting from this date, finishing at this date. Like put there this, or just let us to see some timeline there in the CV. Yeah, because of course it makes the difference whether you work in certain role or as a part-timer for 2 months or 2 years, you know. So always like put the timeline there as well. And you can also mention something about your personality or about your personal values, what matters like the most to you. I think this is great as well. I always look into this information. I'm searching for such in the CV, really. And be authentic, always be yourself. Yeah.